Learning how to balance your effort and the act of surrender is one of the most powerful lessons you can learn when you're working towards something meaningful. It's one of the, I really do believe that it's one of the most essential practices for anyone pursuing something meaningful, whether it is a dream that you may have, a goal, anything that you really intend to achieve. It's easy to get caught up in the mindset that everything depends on how hard you push, how much effort you're putting into something, how much you control, and how perfectly you go about your execution. But at the end of the day, the truth just is that there's a limit. There's a limit to what sheer willpower can do. You can be the most disciplined person on the planet. You can show up for yourself every single day and give it your all, but without also learning how to let go, to trust the process, and to stop trying to control every outcome, you will end up drained. Without a doubt, you will end up feeling disconnected from the very thing that inspired you in the first place. If you have a big dream or a big goal or you're working towards something, it's very easy to feel like you need to control everything. You care about what you're working towards. It's probably something that you love. It's probably something that you're passionate about. You want to be hands-on as much as you can. So much of the way we're taught how to get after our goals is to plan everything and focus on control, on mastering every single detail, planning every step, executing perfectly. And we're told that if we're just able to work hard enough and consistently enough and push through all the resistance and stay laser focused on what we're working towards, then we'll finally achieve the things that we want. But while discipline and consistency and strong effort are obviously essential and very important, there's a point in time where trying to control every aspect of your journey just becomes more harmful than helpful. Sometimes, and I know like I've experienced this firsthand, but when you're overly fixated on getting everything exactly right, when all of your attention and energy and effort becomes wrapped up in making sure that things are going exactly to plan, things are going your way, right? On your timeline, you start to disconnect from the bigger picture, I feel like. And like I said, I've experienced this firsthand, right? Like you care about your goals, you care about getting to the places that you see for yourself. It's important to you. Maybe you're passionate about your goals. Hopefully you are passionate about getting to your goals. You are committed. So we feel like we have this control and we're so attached to getting there. Everything needs to go exactly to plan. Everything needs to go in this fashion. And if it doesn't go this fashion, I don't know what I'm going to do, right? Like you stop listening sometimes to your intuition and you become a little bit more reactive, a little bit more anxious, a little bit more rigid because everything needs to go this way. And slowly the joy and the inspiration that initially like lit you on fire to try to take action towards this thing and to push through resistance and to just get after it, that flame begins to fade a little bit. There's a natural limit to what force and willpower and control can do. Of course, they can push you forward, they can propel you forward, and they can keep you going on days where motivation might be lacking a little bit. But force alone isn't what's going to make you feel aligned. The control that you're trying to place upon your journey to getting you where it is you see yourself going doesn't guarantee that you're going to get to your goals in the exact fashion that you originally planned. When you are too heavily controlling of every outcome, you're going to miss certain opportunities, you're going to miss certain lessons and just like redirections that life may be trying to offer you. And sometimes things are just, things not going according to plan is actually the plan. Things not going according to plan and certain redirections that you get on your journey to getting to your goals or the places that you want to get to may actually be things that if you were more present and more willing to kind of veer off course, like it would actually get you to the places that you're trying to get to in a more aligned way, in a faster way, in a way that is just better overall for you and for everyone around you. Like you never know if you're just so focused on what you're doing and you're trying to control everything and you weren't really zooming out and seeing the bigger picture of things. And that is where surrender comes in. And that's why surrender is so important, because it enables us to zoom out and see that bigger picture. Surrender doesn't mean failure, but it just means letting go from, the need to control everything, the need to grip on to certain outcomes so tightly. You release the belief that you have to figure everything out on your own and that the outcome is entirely in your hands, right? Like, it's just about trusting that your consistent effort is important, 100%. That matters a lot, but it's also trusting that life is just guiding you in the right direction. Like, God, the universe, like, it will guide you toward what it is meant for you. And when you're present and you're in alignment with what it is you feel like you should be doing, like, you're going to be guided to take the right steps. You have to believe that. You have to have faith in that. You know, you have to leave space for the mystery, for the unfolding, for the unknown. And in order to do that, you have to zoom out. You have to see the bigger picture. If you're so stuck in the weeds thinking that you have to control everything, you risk burning out and just becoming resentful even of the very journey or the very path that you once felt called to walk. So it's just about balancing your effort, showing up consistently. That is your responsibility, and just surrender. Showing up fully, being all in on what you're doing, taking the steps, doing the work, giving it your all, being yourself every single day, showing up. That's important. That's your responsibility. But also learning how to, know when to breathe, know when to take a step back, knowing when to trust, knowing when to allow things to unfold naturally. Without surrender, even the most well-planned journey can start to feel like you're fighting against yourself, because you're just so stuck in the weeds. You're unable to really take a step back and see the bigger picture and trust things, just because you may just be a bit too in it. You're too attached. Being in the moment, being present, being fully where it is you are right here, right now, becomes your anchor, I think, in all of this. Because when you're present, you're not constantly obsessed with where you're going or whether you're there yet. You're just grounded. And when you're grounded and you're centered, you're able to take that step back more willingly. You know that by taking a step back, you're really just taking a step forward. You're allowing yourself to zoom out and see that bigger picture. And when you zoom out, you start loosening your grip and allowing yourself to just surrender to the process. And without surrender, without your ability to take a step back and loosen your grip on how things should go, you block the very flow that just allows things to unfold naturally in your life and on your journey. Something that I've noticed in my own life is that some of the most beautiful and aligned outcomes do not come when you're planning so rigidly. They come from trust. They come from allowing things to flow naturally, allowing the space for something unexpected or even better than you imagined to happen. So it's just about finding that natural balance, that beautiful balance between your effort, which again is your responsibility, and surrender. Without that balance, you just become so sucked into what it is you're doing, and you risk losing yourself when you don't have that ability to take a step back or zoom out. I think it's very easy to like understand what effort means, right? Like, if you're genuinely serious and committed to getting to your goals, you are going to take the action. I don't think there's any doubt that if there's something that you really feel called to do or something that you really want and it's a priority to you, you're not gonna not act. You're not gonna not feel disciplined to show up for yourself. You understand the importance of making conscious choices that move you in the direction of your intentions, even when progress is slow, even when you're not sure if it's working. You just know that you're going to show up for yourself. It's, I think, effort is easier for people to understand or easier to commit to because it's tangible, it's measurable, and just because it's action based, and it fits very neatly into the way we're taught how to operate, right? Like set a goal, make a plan, take action, track your progress. Like that's easy to understand. You can see the work that you're doing. You can check things off a list even. It feels productive. But with surrender, on the other hand, it's like a whole different language. It's less about doing and it's more about allowing. That's why, it's important to take that step back to just allow things to be, see how things unfold. Um, Even when there's no proof, surrender asks you to trust, to loosen your grip, even when everything around you may try to convince you should hold on even tighter. And that's why surrender is a little bit harder to understand or accept its importance, if that makes sense. And especially to like the outside, maybe people externally, like surrender doesn't seem like a good thing. It doesn't always look like progress from the outside. You can't track surrender, right? Like you can't check it off a list. It's just about, it's a feeling. It's about learning how to be okay with the uncertainty and just learning how to be okay with letting go of how you think things should go. Let me repeat that. Letting go of how you think things should go. And for most people, that's very uncomfortable. That's very hard to do. We're not really, at least for me, like when you think about this, like letting go doesn't really equate with moving forward. People think of letting go as like like you're failing if you let go, right? Like you don't care anymore. And that's just not the case. Like a lot of people assume that surrender is giving up. It means you're giving up, but it's not. Um, you gain strength from learning how to loosen your grip on the need to control everything. Um, I think you start developing a greater trust within yourself when you learn how to surrender and just trust, you know? So it's just about finding that balance, learning to find that sweet spot between showing up with effort, knowing that that's your responsibility, and learning slash knowing when to let go. You need both the drive to take action and the wisdom, you could say, to surrender what you can't control. That's the balance we're talking about here. Too much force, too much output, you burn out. Too much surrender, then you just drift without having direction. But when you learn to meet life halfway, when you learn to meet, what you're doing with this mindset, you could say, you're doing your part while trusting, while trusting how this beautiful journey you're on is going to unfold and how it's going to unfold in a way that best serves you. So that's all I really wanted to get across in this recording, in this video. I really appreciate you listening and tuning in and being a part of Presence of Being. And I'll see you in the next recording. Thank you for listening.